Our DNA holds many secrets. As scientists continue to decode humanity's genetics, we learn more and more about our distant past every day. By analyzing DNA, we can determine where our ancestors traveled, who they met along the way, and much more. Within your body are DNA strands that have been around for hundreds of thousands of years. The same genetic data that was carried by the earliest humans. But what if our DNA contains much more information than we ever realized? What if we could somehow access the memories of our ancestors and learn even more about our distant past? We're talking, of course, about genetic memory. This is the idea that everything our ancestors experienced is somehow encoded into our very being. That an entire database of experiences is waiting beneath the surface of our conscious minds. Many people are familiar with the concept of genetic memory, thanks to a number of compelling sci-fi stories. The Assassin's Creed video game series revolves around a device called the Animus, which can replay genetic memories of present-day humans to uncover secrets about our ancient past. Frank Herbert also wrote about genetic memory in the Dune series. Not only can the Bene Gesserit access a vague form of genetic memory, but clones can also access the memories of their original lives. But is there any truth to this? You might be surprised by the answer.
There's 51 million people entering another
surveillance camera capturing the
unidentified flying saucer.
lockdowns and mass testing.
Today, that the world is going to end.
Genetic memory is a recognized theory in the field of psychology. While it hasn't been proven, there is some interesting evidence to support this hypothesis. One study involved mice being exposed to a certain smell that they quickly associated with something bad happening. Eventually, the smell was enough to scare the mice. But here's the weird thing. When a new generation of mice were born, they exhibited the same fear response when exposed to the smell, despite never smelling it before and never learning that it was associated with something bad. Researchers concluded that humans could also pass down phobias through some kind of genetic process. This could explain why humans tend to fear the same things, and why some people are more prone to disorders like PTSD. Perhaps post-traumatic stress occurs when you experience something that triggers a traumatic ancestral memory. For many years, these ideas have been ridiculed by many mainstream scientists. Why? Because according to Darwin's theory of evolution, you can't inherit traits developed by your ancestors during their lifetime. If your father became a boxer and developed a hell of a left hook after years of practice, that doesn't mean you're automatically born with the same ability. But new theories of epigenetic inheritance suggest that certain traits could be inherited through something other than DNA. These traits could be carried by methylation patterns in DNA and chromatin marks on histone proteins. Again, these ideas are not mainstream, but there is a group of scientists today that suggest that inheriting traits acquired by your ancestors during their lifetime could be possible. This leaves the door open for genetic memory. It would explain why many animals seem to come into this world with a number of stunning abilities, despite never learning the talent. For example, birds can build complex nests without ever being taught, and beavers can create stunning dams. The margay can imitate the sound of an infant monkey to attract other animals. Monarch butterflies journey 2,500 miles from Canada to Mexico each year without ever flying the route previously. How is it possible that these animals are born with these abilities? Are they relying on some kind of genetic memory? What about humans? In contrast to many animals, Humans are born in an extremely helpless state. However, we do show a quick and almost miraculous propensity for certain intellectual skills, such as spoken language. And as many have pointed out, some human savants seem to be born with exceptional, factory-installed talents. Musical child geniuses like Mozart were able to pick up musical instruments and play masterpieces with virtually no training. The same goes for Blaise Pascal, a mathematical genius who was writing complex research papers by the age of 9. Carl Jung was one of the most notable supporters of genetic memory, although he referred to it as a collective unconscious that contains the experiences of our ancestors. And while Jung believed that we are born with these memories, he also stated that they are buried so deep in our minds that they are almost impossible to unlock. Our instincts are the most obvious examples of genetic memory. A newborn chick knows that a hawk is bad news. Newborn humans are inherently afraid of snakes, and they know how to suck from birth. These instincts must be stored somewhere in our DNA, which means they are a form of genetic memory. So if fears and instincts can be stored in our DNA, then why not other types of memories as well? And what about our body's ability to learn how to fight off certain diseases? How do we become immune to certain illness? The answer, of course, is that our DNA is altered to create a more efficient immune system. This is called an adaptive immune response, and it's yet another example of genetic memory in nature. Here's the crazy thing. All of your brain's molecules are replaced every few weeks, so how can your brain store memories if your neural connections are constantly shifting? Some scientists believe that the only possible answer is that important, long-term memories are stored in altered genes, often referred to as memory molecules. Remember, 97% of DNA is a complete mystery, and scientists are baffled at its purpose. Could this junk DNA be responsible for storing memories? Consider that in March of 2022, researchers found genes associated with fear that were hiding in the junk DNA of mice. What if we could one day decode this junk DNA and access our ancestral memories? What kind of secrets would we find? And would we even want to experience those memories? Imagine having access to all the horrific things your ancestors experienced in the past. Thousands of traumatic deaths and other disturbing experiences would suddenly be at the forefront of your mind. On the flip side, you might remember all of the amazing things your ancestors have accomplished. Who knows? Genetic memory may one day allow us to pinpoint the location of Atlantis, or solve the mystery of how the pyramids were built. And here's the really crazy thing. Sometime in the future, someone might decode your memories, even after you're long gone. One of your descendants might one day have the ability to replay everything you've ever experienced, including this very moment.